Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. You can find me at Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting through my website, emailrevealer.com. Or you can just email me directly at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. If you like our show today, be sure and check out our Patreon, where we put up 8 new hours of new content each month. And matter of fact, I just put up the top secret manifesto of the Proud Boys, because it just came out that the leader of the Proud Boys is an FBI informant. So we've had that for quite a while. We just put that up for free. We put up all the Dominion lawsuit documents. We put that up for free. And also to the old grand jury report in Pennsylvania about the pedophile priests over there. It's a couple of years old, but I know a lot of people haven't read the whole thing. And also to our archives are always free that you can find at Spreaker.com, where we have a chat room and we put up free content. That there's you get an email notification anytime we put up new content. And our guest today, we got about 10 shows up there with him, Stephen Hoffenberg, the former CEO of Tower Financial, who was Jeffrey Epstein's mentor and boss over at Tower Financial. And now he's been hunting down Epstein and Maxwell and giving us all the inside dirt on this story for years now. So, Mr. Hoffenberg, are you there?
Yes. How are you, Ed?
I'm very good, and it's very good to hear your voice again. It's been too long since we've had you back on the show. I know you're an audience favorite. I know that for sure. And if they call you the gift that keeps on giving, is what they call Stephen Hoffenberg. But remind the audience, who is Stephen Hoffenberg?
Stephen Hoffenberg is the man that saved the New York Post from going out of business when it was in bankruptcy and brought it back to life. And thereafter, it was sold back to Rupert Murdoch, and that's why it is doing the publishing it has today. Stephen Hoffenberg is a former CEO at Towers Financial Corporation, a public company that did $1.5 billion a year in collections and raised some $1 billion on Wall Street, where Jeffrey Epstein was a major participant, an associate, and a person who participated in a very substantial set of securities and other crimes at Towers Financial and its some 25 companies. And Stephen Hoffenberg is a man that worked with Jeffrey Epstein and knew Jeffrey Epstein one-to-one for 9 years and has been following the scandal for some 25 years and does research in the scandal of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell every day for the victims. Stephen Hoffenberg talks to the victims by various communications online and other, and provides a lot of information pertaining to the crimes. So I'm a victim's person helping the victims of the crimes of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein and the other related people to them that have not been charged so far. Please go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, Mr. Hoffenberg, before we started the interview, you told me that there was some new litigation involving Les Wexner. Why don't you tell us, who is Les Wexner and what is this new litigation?
Les Wexner has a substantial history financially and various allegations against Les Wexner and his wife, Abigail Wexner, I believe, for being an associate with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein for a lot of years. They're charging Les Wexner in allegations in a derivatives lawsuit for the benefit of the shareholders of a New York Stock Exchange company called L Brands, which is a company associated with Victoria's Secrets and other holdings that Leslie Wexner and his foundation and his wife, and I imagine his family, have a big interest in, a New York Stock Exchange public company. And in this derivative lawsuit that was recently filed in the month of January, they're claiming hundreds of millions of dollars were lost by the shareholders or securities holders of L Brands associated with Victoria's Secrets and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's misconduct being the root or the basis or the joining of these hundreds of millions of dollars of losses, blaming it on Leslie Wexner and his wife, Abigail Wexner, in the complaint. The complaint, I believe, is about 125 pages of allegations. So it's a very complicated, lengthy lawsuit joining in Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein and all of the crimes that they were charged with.
You know,
and everything there's much more in the media about what's taking place, the investigations and the prosecutions and some 100 civil suits. It's a very deep, vast set of claims against Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, and now they're alleging Leslie Wexner, L. Brands, and more persons involved with Leslie Wexner are implicated for allegations. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, if you have your hands on that complaint, if you could send that to them, I'll put it up on the website so the audience can read it. Why do you think, though, if there was this big viral meme that went around, Epstein didn't kill himself, and big joke, everybody was talking about it constantly, how come there was never a meme that said, hey, boycott The Limited, boycott Victoria's Secret because they're hooked up with these pedophiles? Well, how come you think that never happened?
I don't think that the Victoria's Secret's brand or L brands were exposed in the media as what they're facing now. Now it has shifted and transferred the claims substantially in this derivative action. It wasn't there before, 125 pages of claims joining in Jeffrey Epstein, all of the prior misconduct, rapes, everything else. It just wasn't there before. Now it's exposed.
And when was this complaint filed? When was this filed?
January.
Okay.
This month, I believe.
Because I got to tell you, everybody tags me in every slightest thing, even remotely related to this case, and no one's brought this to my attention until you today. So we have that. Now, by the way, too, also, if you go to the Opperman Report Patreon, there's all kinds I have documents there about the OSU, the Ohio State University sex scandal that went on there with the male athletes, mostly male athletes. And some of those assaults took place in the Wexler building. Who donated a building there. He's on the board of directors over there, and his wife is currently deciding on penalties and punishments in that case when she's accused herself with Maria Farmer. Can you tell us a story about Wexner and his Abigail and Maria Farmer?
Well, under Maria Farmer, Farmer, online, if anybody wants to search the online prior history, Maria Farber claims that she was held against her right of freedom at a very large home that's on the property and estate of the Wexners in New Albany, Ohio. And Maria Farber has alleged that she was a captive and taken advantage of sexually many times for months at this New Albany, Ohio estate and home that Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein were occupying on the land or estate of the Wexners. Very serious allegations are in these claims.
Now,
of holding against will.
Now, but there have been there's no criminal charges in that case, am I correct?
Well, once again, the criminality of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and all that you're discussing is first started now. after years of diligent work by the FBI and the Southern District of New York, there's been years of research into this, and the FBI has a very extensive file on all of this. So, unfortunately, the FBI needs hard evidence, very substantial evidence, not circumstantial evidence, but hard evidence in order to bring a charge of criminality. It has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's at 99% of beyond a reasonable doubt. If there's any doubt, the FBI cannot bring an allegation easily, or they would chance being held for prosecutorial misconduct. So they're very careful. They do a huge amount of work in the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office and with the FBI, and I can tell you the work is ongoing, definitely ongoing.
And Maria Farmer has prevailed in a civil litigation, am I correct?
I couldn't tell you if she prevailed. She's in a civil litigation. She might be in more than one civil litigation against the people you're discussing in this interview right now.
Because I know there was a judge's order, a gag order, to prevent her from discussing her allegations.
Yeah, there was an order. I don't know the current standing of that order, but she was asked not to talk about it, and I'm not sure if she can talk about it or can't. But I deal with Maria Farmer all the time in communications, and she's really suffering from this great tragedy of misconduct and injuries that she suffered in New Albany, Ohio, and with Jeffrey Epstein and with Ghislaine Maxwell. It's a tragic story. Tragic. She has cancer from all of this, and it's very sad. She underwent an additional cancer operation last week or this week, and it's heartbreaking, just heartbreaking.
Yeah, I know. Currently, right now, she's actually off the internet because she's too ill to even post online and keep up with her Twitter page, which I think is called Artistic Whistleblower on Twitter. You could follow Maria Farmer, who's very active in these areas. Now, there's been some recent revelations about Leon Black. Leon Black, who was the CEO of Apollo, and that he gave a huge sum of money, I think over $150 million to Epstein. Well, what do you know about that?
Well, there's been a subpoena served on Mr. Leon Black and Apollo, I believe, as well, demanding the production of documents pertaining to millions and millions of dollars transferred to Jeffrey Epstein from this Leon Black and possibly Apollo. That's being recorded, that subpoena, and it's an ongoing investigation that's taking place that's alleging that the government of the St. Thomas Attorney General requires evidence from Leon Black to explain his association with Jeffrey Epstein, and I don't know if Ghislaine Maxwell's named in that subpoena or not, but it's very, very substantial. I do know that.
What is going on with the litigation in the Virgin Islands? Anything new down there?
Well, those courts were under restrictions by the COVID virus, and I believe, like the Southern District of New York, was under restrictions by the by the COVID virus. And I believe these courts are operating again currently, or just started operating again. So you'll see very great amount of legal work being done in these courts. I saw Ghislaine Maxwell filing several court papers trying to attack the government's indictment of her in the Southern District of New York, where Ghislaine Maxwell was trying to get her case substantially thrown out of the Southern District of New York under the basis of a prior agreement with the Jeffrey Epstein original or second or third problem in Florida. And she claims that she has an immunity in the Florida jurisdiction that should attach to other areas of jurisdiction in the Southern District of New York, which is not the law or the rule of law in the federal courts or in the state courts. But she has brought that paperwork into the Southern District of New York. In my opinion, it has no merit. So she has also made another filing in the Southern District of New York to reverse the judge's, I believe, second or third opinion denying Ghislaine Maxwell bail or home detention. And she hasn't filed, that I saw, any evidence to establish that the judge may have erred in the bail denial once, more than once, twice or three times. I think this is her third request of the court for bail that recently got filed this month.
Now, Maxwell's being held in Brooklyn, right, at the MDC, which is the women's version of the MCC that you were held in.
Maxwell's being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center, a federal prison in Brooklyn, New York, that I had some experience with in the MCC division, which is the New York City division. So I could describe my experience that I had with that, if that's what you're asking.
Well, why don't we do? We've also had A.J. Weberman on the show. The audience is familiar with my relationship with A.J. Weberman, and he was also held in that facility too as well. Not under the same glorious conditions that Ms. Maxwell is currently being held there. But why don't you describe the conditions when you were being held there, and then we'll get into her conditions with 2 computers and a TV set and a cell phone.
Well, Maxwell, because of the complexity of this case and the extraordinary high profile of this case, is being held in a special, what you would probably call confinement. I don't know that you would call it a solitary confinement, because she has unusual benefits in the prison cell. As you said, she has 2 computers, and you, I think, said just now she has a TV set. Is that what you said?
Yes, she has a TV set. I looked it up.
Wow. Well, I can speak to the issue that nobody else has 2 computers and a TV set, and that's a substantial amount of benefits for somebody that's imprisoned at that location. So she's making a lot of claims that the incarceration is cruel and unusual punishment, and that she's deteriorating and losing weight and losing her hair, and that was part of her bail denial. a condition of confinement that she claimed was cruel and unusual. But you're describing benefits that nobody else has in that type of confinement in that federal prison.
Yeah, even with Epstein, when you and I were discussing the conditions in Epstein's cell, we were surprised to find they had more than one jumpsuit and they had more than one sheets and blankets in there. That's contraband at MCC. Whereas this woman here has like a hotel room.
Well, this woman has got an unusual cell full of benefits that you're describing that nobody else has. That's for sure.
Now, why do you think that is? Do you think that corresponds to the President of the United States wishing her well?
Well, Donald Trump went out of his way to favor her in the media. And there was all kinds of conspiracy writings in the media that Ghislaine Maxwell and Donald Trump, there was more to why he was wishing her well. There was conspiracy theories all over the place. But she didn't get a pardon from Donald Trump, and now her case is actively being pursued. Her case kind of had a Saturday night crisis with the federal government where the head of the Southern District of New York was discharged, dealing somehow with the Ghislaine Maxwell case. And that has not been exposed yet as to the details, but her case was worked on substantially by the Southern District of New York and the FBI, but nothing occurred in her case after Donald Trump went on the media and wished her well. Nothing's taken place recently, before after Donald Trump left office. Now all of a sudden there's a lot of paperwork going into court from Ghislaine Maxwell and the government, the federal government as well. It's much more active now, and I'm sure we're going to see further exposure. There's a whole set of papers coming from one of the cases that were put under sale that should be coming this week or next week, from exposing depositions or other evidence that deals with Ghislaine Maxwell's life and Jeffrey Epstein's life. That's coming now. A lot of paperwork.
Now, Mr. Hoffenberg, you've had a relationship with Donald Trump.
Yes, I've had a relationship with Donald Trump.
And yet you had a relationship with the 2016 campaign where you were involved with Stone and Manafort and all the crew?
Yes, I had a relationship with Stone in the 2016 race by Donald Trump, and I did do a lot of research regarding Manafort's involvement in Europe years ago. Yes. But Manafort and Stone now have full pardons.
Right. That's what I'm getting to. Now, you've also had a long relationship with Giuliani. He was actually a corporate counsel for Tower Financial, and you believe that he sided with Epstein and Dyke and to your demise.
Well, what I believe in, my thinking versus having evidence and making claims, that's two different areas.
Okay.
I don't have evidence joining Epstein and Giuliani to each other. I have hearsay discussions joining many people involved that included Rudy Giuliani with people involved with Epstein and the Towers financial cases, but I don't have the documentation that claims are founded on. So I don't want to make any allegations that I don't have evidence about.
Now, when you were acting in support of the 2016 Trump campaign for president, did you come into contact with Rudy Giuliani at that time?
No.
Okay.
No.
Knowing these people as you do, knowing these people as intimately as you do, over the years, being in New York all these years, when you look at these pardons, the 75 most recent pardons, the midnight pardons right before the president leaves the White House, do you believe that those pardons is more likely or less likely that there was money changed hands in order to create those pardons?
Well, you have to go pardon by pardon, and we would have to look at each person as to who represented them,
right,
how they solicited the pardon in Washington or locally, and who assisted the actual granting of the pardon. The research has to be done. There were stories printed and all kinds of conspiracy stories about money changing hands so far regarding these pardons, but they haven't alleged any evidence pertaining to this in this conspiracy group of stories about the pardons. I've seen no evidence.
Well, CIA whistleblower John Kirikawa, who's been a guest on this show, said that he had a late-night drinking binge with Rudy Giuliani, one of Rudy Giuliani's attorneys. And when Giuliani went to go to the bathroom, his attorney says, well, you know, the pardon's $2 million. That's firsthand from Kirikawa's mouth.
Does he have a recording of that?
No, not that we know of. Not that we know of. And I have my own suspicions of what else was going on around that time, involving also to the Hunter Biden laptop. But let me ask you this. Do you think if Ghislaine Maxwell had access to that kind of money, she could have got a pardon?
No.
No.
No. No. I don't see that Donald Trump would pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. He might like her personally, or maybe there is something going on behind the scenes, but I don't think that Donald Trump would take the risk after going public, establishing and exposing that he was a close friend of Ghislaine Maxwell and that he liked her. I don't think he would take that risk in pardoning her. I doubt it.
Okay.
I strongly doubt it.
Now, Ghislaine Maxwell had a spokesperson named Goldman.
Yes.
And, you know, they had some kind of relationship. We know that they know each other. They had some kind of relationship, right? Now, somehow this woman, Goldman, had press pass access to the daily press briefings in the White House, in the West Wing of the White House. She was there in that press corps as a freelance journalist. And do you know any information about that?
Goldman never told me that she attended the White House press corps. I had many conversations with Goldman, a friend of the Maxwell family, and she never told me that she was a guest of the White House press corps as a freelance journalist.
Oh, yeah, and you can Google it and find it, and what she talks about it, yeah. So we'll have to revisit that on another day. Maybe you can have a conversation with her and see how she managed to wrangle that. But let's take a little commercial break. We are here with Stephen Hoffenberg, who, like he says, rescued the New York Post, former CEO of Tower Financial, associate with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. He knows all the players in this. We just ran through all the names. Historically, these guys have been involved in everything. We'll be right back with more of Stephen Hoffenberg after these messages.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. We're here today with Stephen Hoffenberg, once again, the former CEO of the New York Post, former CEO of Tower Financial, and the mentor to Jeffrey Epstein. Insider information on all these topics here. So if people go back and look at a previous interview we did, I think it was called Smoking Gun, the origin of the funds in the Epstein Trust in the Virgin Islands. Now, Mr. Hoffenberg, your theory at that time was that the $400 million that was in that trust in the Virgin Islands was proceeds that was stolen from Tower Financial. Am I correct?
Yes, but I have to give you more points of fact.
Sure.
But the answer is basically within the money in the trust are the fruit of the poisonous tree, which is the money from Towers Financial stolen by Jeffrey Epstein. Yes.
Now, but the thing is, now if we see $158 million coming from Apollo, right, and Leon Black, and we know that Les Wexner practically turned over power of attorney to his entire life and all his assets to Jeffrey Epstein. How does all that add up now? That was some money hidden away in Switzerland or something? What do you think happened?
There's been no needed forensic audit of all the money to date. And once they do a verified and qualified forensic audit of Jeffrey Epstein's businesses, which are being obstructed from being done by Darren Indyke, who is the executor of all of Jeffrey Epstein's assets. The shocking point is that this Darren Indyke would have the arrogance to stay on as the executor of Jeffrey Epstein's massive estate of hundreds of millions of dollars when he's a named, targeted defendant with a lien filed against this estate restricting the estate's activities because of the executor's involvement in the crimes. This is shocking. And this is all going to come out and be exposed. What we're discussing now is ahead of what's going to be exposed. But if anybody wanted to do research and looked at the charges filed in the Jeffrey Epstein estate by the Attorney General of the Virgin Islands, the people that read that now would be shocked at what's taking place. Shocked. It's a grave miscarriage of justice that the Attorney General is working hard to correct and expose.
And Ghislaine Maxwell also, too, she inserted herself into that litigation down there into the Virgin Islands, requesting that the estate would continue paying her, not only her legal fees, but her fees to basically evade justice by traveling around the world anonymously and buying homes under false names. And also, too, then she also, what was the other one is... she tried to claim that the immunity agreement that Epstein put together down there in Palm Beach for his criminal charges, that she was offered immunity in that case as well. Now, what are your take on all that?
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell filing her paperwork into the Virgin Islands St. Thomas proceedings dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars of the Epstein victims is an act of foolishness, in my opinion, because now she has opened the door to be charged in the Virgin Islands cases. And why would you go into a courtroom where you are alleged to be a co-conspirator in the same crimes? I mean, this is remarkable that she would do that instead of taking the conservative role of leaving that alone. I can't believe some of the things that Ghislaine Maxwell is thinking about and demanding her lawyers to file in courts. I can't understand it at all.
Now, is that what you're hearing, that this is her legal theory and this is what she's demanding her lawyers doing, or is this their theory?
Well, you can't get the inside conversation of Ghislaine Maxwell's interaction with her attorneys. But papers have been filed that very few other lawyers would support in the Ghislaine Maxwell benefit. She's hurt herself substantially and exposed herself substantially in cases that she should not have done, in my opinion.
Now, another development we've had since the last time we've spoken is the arrest of Jean-Luc Brunel. What can you tell us about that?
Well, he is a man charged by victims for arranging illegal sex acts and sex transportation of minors and sex trafficking of minors. There's a whole group of charges that have been alleged against his participation with Jeffrey Epstein, and the allegations may join Ghislaine Maxwell as well. It's very serious. Very, very serious, the allegations against him.
Yeah, Brunel's background was that as a modeling scout. And he visited Epstein when Epstein was being held down in the Palm Beach Sheriff's facility. More occasions. He visited more times than there were visiting days. We know at least one time he visited twice. Or maybe several times twice on visiting days, because he was there twice. The other thing, too, I found interesting is that he sued Epstein prior to Epstein's death for damaging his reputation and causing him damages. What do you know about their relationship between Epstein and Trump and Jean-Luc Brunel?
Well, you ask about Epstein and Trump. Epstein and Trump's relationship has not been fully exposed to date. There has not been legal work done that would detail how deep the relationship might be between Epstein and Trump and all these other parties in all the misconduct alleged against Epstein. The second man, Brunel, also does not have all of the evidence exposed to date between Epstein, but the public will be very happy to hear that the cases against these people are being worked on right now, right this minute, by the authorities, by the two governments, the federal United States government and the St. Thomas Virgin Islands government. They're taking it very serious. The FBI is taking it very serious. And there's been a huge amount of legal work placed in motion right now. It's been ongoing for a long period of time. Now, the victims complain and others complain that it's too slow. Well, that's complaints that happen all the time in these very complicated cases, and we all like to see it be done faster. But I think now, in this new year, you're going to see a lot of results from the Southern District of New York, the FBI, the Attorney General in St. Thomas, the Federal United States Department of Justice. I think you're going to see a huge amount of progress and exposure of all the points you're making in this interview. I think a lot more evidence is going to come out, and a lot more is going to be understood about the money crimes that are gigantic and the sex trafficking crimes of minors that are a tragedy, a horrible tragedy. I believe a lot more is going to come out.
Have you ever reached out or spoken to Michael Cohen?
Yes, I've had a few conversations with Michael Cohen.
Okay, I was told that Michael Cohen is still on the payroll. That Michael Cohen is on the payroll by Jeffrey Falwell Jr. And he's on the payroll to keep his mouth shut about Epstein and to keep his mouth shut about abortions. Can you confirm that?
No, I could not confirm that Michael Cohen is on a payroll.
Can you confirm that he knows more about Epstein than he's talking about? For some reason, he doesn't mention it at all.
I can say that Michael Cohen claims that he knows a great deal more that's been published so far. He claims that he knows more and that he is exposing more and he is cooperating right now, this moment.
Right, we know that. But I'd like to see him speak about more about what he knows about.
You want inside information, which I would not get involved in on air or get involved in explaining, pertaining to my conversations with Michael Cohen.
Let me ask you this, because once again, your relationship with Stone and Manafort and the Trump campaign. How about Steve Bannon? Have you had any contact with Steve Bannon?
No.
Okay. Well, you saw what happened on January 6th, right? And what I find interesting is it appears that Manafort's company was involved in event planning for that rally that took place out in front of the White House. And one of the Hill cops, one of the Hill police officers who committed suicide several days later, his father worked as a lobbyist, and his father's lobbying company became so successful. He was a sergeant at arms of the Senate, then he became a lobbyist, and his company became so successful that he merged his company and sold into with Manafort and Stone. They became partners. Are you aware of any of that?
I am aware of Manafort and Stone's old business. Are you saying that there's a relationship that occurred by Manafort and Stone on January 6th in Washington.
We know that Manafort was his event planning company, ran the event for Trump. Okay, and we know that the father of the officer who shot himself committed suicide. I forget his Liegenbolt, I think, Liegengold or something like that. His name is Liebengood, perhaps. Liebengood, I think his name is. His father was a lobbyist as well, and his father was in partnership with Manafort and Stone, their old lobbying company back then. Would you put it past people like Stone and Manafort and Bannon, who seemed to be aware of what was going to happen the next day, too, we see from recordings, having much more intimate involvement in instigating that crowd with professionals to go in there and storm the Capitol?
This is a very serious question that you're asking. Number one, Manafort's pardon was not issued until much later in January, and Manafort was under home detention. So you would be making a claim that Manafort violated his home detention, which is now pardoned regardless, by having a company participate with the July 6th riot on the Congress of the United States. Now, Stone has conceded that he was there in Washington, D.C. at the time of this tragedy, scandal on January 6th. But he hasn't been charged with anything pertaining to the riots on the Congress. Bannon, the question, because Bannon was on bail, the question of Bannon being in Washington, D.C. while he was on bail from the Southern District of New York indictment pending against him on January 6th, I would have to see.
No, I'm not saying that Bannon was there, but we have a recording of him saying on his podcast the day before, tomorrow's going to be wild, tomorrow's going to be earth-shattering, it's going to be happening fast, it's going to be moving fast. There's a direct quote of him that he knew that something was going to happen the next day.
Well, there is a large body of evidence of many people saying that that July 6th tragedy was going to be a very strange event. That's why they impeached Donald Trump, and that impeachment doesn't seem to be working right now.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to proceed as an impeachment. I don't see how. The chief judge of the Supreme Court won't even handle the impeachment. He turned it down.
Mr. Hoffenberg, we only have about a minute left, okay? What do you like to leave us with before we go?
I believe there's an enormous amount of federal government, FBI, Justice Department, Attorney General St. Thomas, investigative work taking place now in everything to deal with this interview that you've conducted today with me. And I think you're going to be shocked at some of the exposure of misconduct that's about to come forward. It's very substantial, very, very big misconduct, hurting a lot of people.
And Stephen Hoffberg, people can follow you on Twitter, right? Your name is Stephen Hoffberg on Twitter, right?
Yes, I'm on Twitter, but I don't devote enough time to it as you probably do. But
no,
I should devote some more time to it.
You definitely should. Thank you so much, Stephen Hoffenberg. Keep in touch with me. When we have something new come up, we'll put you right on the air.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
And now a word from our sponsors. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119.